Yes, and we have 2 more people that are experimenting in this huge lab that the arena is. André Bos, security and safety things. Security and safety things.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. What is security and safety things?
Yeah, Security and Safety Things has developed an open operating system for security cameras, so that the security camera is able to run artificial intelligence applications on the device itself.
Okay.
That's what we did. So that's like Android did it for the smartphone.
Ooh, small ambitions there.
Yeah.
All right, and Paul Valk, founder of Studio Automated. What does Studio Automated do?
Well, very simple. Actually, we provide and we develop AI software which learns cameras where the action is. And we do that in several markets, as you already know, in sports and media, very much growing, and also now in safety and health market.
Yeah. And I think that's part of a really, I mean, you both represent 2 really big developments. The first one is that computer vision, that camera feeds, video feeds can now be interpreted by software, by artificial intelligence, and you can pull all kinds of data out of a camera feed. That's one thing. And the other thing, which I think we should also discuss, is where does all the data reside? Are all these processes one big cloud company somewhere where everything goes? Or, in the case as you have described to me earlier, is it more in the device itself, the edge computing case? Now, let's talk about both these things. But first, I want to dive deeper into what exactly you do. So, let's talk about that platform. So, there's cameras in and around the arena, lots of them actually. There's also a lot of traffic there. You have developed a platform for developers to put in apps that can analyze the camera data. How does that work? I mean, how do you make a platform? It sounds very complicated because you need all the camera makers and chipset. Tell us a little bit more about the process there.
Yeah, interestingly. First of all, we have developed this operating system for security cameras itself. So one of the stakeholders of our platform are camera manufacturers, to put this operating system in the cameras. That's one part of the ecosystem.
An operating system for a camera is basically switch it on and off, right? I mean,
yeah, it's like the computer for the camera, how it runs itself, and it's needed to run these applications on. So therefore, we developed also an ecosystem where app developers can register themselves and have all SDKs and tools in hand to develop with their AI, like a Studio Automated. They have their AI, and with the tools we supply, with this developer documentation and tools, they can provide this application. And therefore, we also have made this marketplace, the worldwide marketplace, where integrators can buy these applications and put them on these cameras. So you on the one hand, you have this hardware. On the other hand, you have these applications and the marketplace to buy these apps.
So you have a marketplace, which I would guess is like a website.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's the market.
And we actually have some examples of to get an idea of what kind of intelligence you can apply to camera feeds. What was that first one? Can go back one? Yeah, exactly. What's this one? Because it's a really simple one, but you like it, right? You told me about it before.
It's a very interesting application where you can have visual feedback. You have these buttons you can push when you have been to the toilet on an airport, let's say, and we don't want to push buttons anymore. So with a camera and a screen, you now have the opportunity to have your thumbs up or your thumbs down to say it's clean here or not clean, and that gives a signal, of course, to the cleaning company.
I can imagine this being applied. I don't know, anywhere. I guess classrooms, conferences, my world conferences.
Of course.
Good speaker, bad speaker. I mean,
stadiums.
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
imagine everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can actually find. I mean, interpreted this for a lot of people in the same screen as well. It's not like one person has to stand there to this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can put, of course, a question on the screen, and that will be answered then by a thumbs up or thumbs down. But you can imagine also all kinds of other solutions which can do with AI, number plate recognition, or retail analytics, or
The next, let's have a look, because I think we have 2 or 3. This is a completely different area. Yeah. So this fall detection in the care industry.
for example, or lonely workers. Normally you have to stand up. This is an abnormal behavior, so you can detect it and make a connection to the system you want to have this detection related to.
And I think we have one more, but you have many more examples. What's happening here?
Yeah, this is container recognition. And of course, the numbers which are on the container has to be at the right place, for example, but you can also make a detection if the container is rightly closed, for example, if the door is exactly closed when you drive away, for example.
Well, all of these show there's very specific use cases. So an app developer understands this use case and makes this app, and then you sell it to the camera people, and then the camera people sell the camera to the industry.
These are the integrators working on the specific use cases. Yeah.
Now you have a use case like this as well, right? In the safety and security area, where you are one of the companies that develops intelligence for video feeds. Now, I know you also do this for production of TV production, and where you can, use video feeds and make it more smarter. But what is happening here?
Yeah, actually, this is
the arena, so that's that we should know as well.
You say it, yeah. So what we are doing and try to do is, in a good way, detecting deviant behaviors. Basically, what is outlier technology, what we developed, and what we are developing. The basics are. So we learn our cameras with AI where the deviation is. In this case, the deviation is about social distancing. We are not allowed many people in the arena and in other stadiums as well. So you have to measure which seats are allowed to sit on and which are not. And by doing this, you get a lot of data and you get learnings from, okay, how do we actually control the customer behavior, but also the customer journey. So in this case, we put alarms. Actually, there was on the match yesterday, very hot, very fresh, where you see the blue squares where there's an alarm. People are sitting next to each other, but according to the seats sold, the plan we have, and the detection, they're not supposed to sit there, and this is real time done with the camera.
What happened? Were there actually stewards saying?
Well, what happened is that exactly what we also have an example in a movie. We don't show it here right now, but we have also a movie where a steward actually was going to a person and said, very friendly, of course, please, you're not allowed to sit here. Please move away. And then you actually saw the yellow where you are, which are you not allowed to sit, and there was a red one where the person was sitting, turned into green. Real time. Yeah. And actually that's just really valuable information, the call to action for the control room, and get the steward there with a friendly, of course, conversation to people that they have
because
to
it's so visual, recognize. It's also clear, like, oh, we have to go to that corner over there, or, it makes it very...
It makes it very sense. It's a lot of work in the beginning to make the model, but actually when you have the plan where the seats are sold and where the seats are allowed, then actually this is the making, that's very operational, have a long list of all those seats. But if you have done that, you put it into the computer, you put it in the software, and it automatically runs. And that goes even faster with AI, of course, because it's learning the cameras and the system where you are allowed or whatever you can do. But this is one of the social distance examples, and when hopefully there will be a lot of people inside the stadiums, all of them, and you have of course other use cases.
Let's hope all those seats are full again, and then what?
Yeah, then you have of course a perfect example of how you can improve your customer journey, like also Sander is saying. That, for example, now you see a lot of people remaining seating during the break, and of course the stadium wants to sell his food and beverage, so you can measure, you have the data, who's seating, who is going to go to the food and beverage corner, you have the data and the numbers which you can count on, and that you can really improve and develop new
See, the moment they get up, some bells start ringing over there.
Exactly, and you get also a little bit more crowd control in terms of when the match is finished, how many people are leaving directly, how many people remain seating, and then you can improve also the remaining time of a visitor, because that's one of the business case of a stadium, how to improve the customer satisfaction and stay a longer crowd in the stadium where you can do more and of course earn more. This is one of the challenges.
Now, okay, look, I always like new tech, and I think this whole computer vision thing is fascinating, and lots of things are happening. But obviously, this is a privacy nightmare on all counts. I mean, how do you solve that? I mean, here the arena is allowed to, just see that you're not in your seat and tell you to go away. Do you anonymize everything, or?
Well, actually, it's very simple. First of all, when it comes to safety and health and safety problems, the only data it's collecting in the cameras are directly reported to the control room with police, and the people are allowed to see. This is it's not touchable because of the network. Yeah. Secondly, we don't do anything with the person detection data. We actually measure the deviant, so the data of the person will not affect anything. We don't know who it is. We don't have any information about that. It's only detecting and sending out the deviation of what is happening at that time. So the empty seat, that's important. Yeah. The seat is where you're not allowed to sit and someone is sitting there. So we know that it's a human being, but that's all we know.
As a person who lives near the arena where it's full of cameras, obviously, and it should be, we also know that, face recognition on anything is possible. And I think, as I mentioned in the beginning, this whole worry on the privacy part of things is not taken away by the solution you offer, but it is a way of making it less of a problem if you collect stuff on the device itself and not automatically send everything you collect and analyze to a central source, right? Exactly. Can you explain a little bit more about how that works and why that's important?
Yeah, one of the things when you do the analytics on the camera is that you don't have to send the data of let's say the images to other systems. So you do the analytics on the camera and you only send out aggregated data or specific data about what you have seen in the pictures by these analytics. You
only send data on the one person that did something wrong and not the video of the 10,000 people around it.
And that's why this edge computing makes it more helpful to be, let's say, compliant to all these regulations.
Yeah. But it's still, you observe a lot of information. You've built this platform, which I'm very happy to say is a European platform and not an American platform. Is this the platform that you feel will be a global standard? I mean, what is the ambition behind this platform?
Yeah, of course, that's what we aim for. And we want to have as much as possible participants on our platform for all stakeholders. Yeah, we aim for the world. And we are already open, let's say, I think 60 or 70% of the world already. So in Asia, in America, in Europe, we can deliver already this open operating system and these apps. But we are working on some countries which is based on all kinds of regulations, export regulations, etc. So we have to work on that.
And who's the competition? Is that the Googles of the world, or who is going?
Of course there is competition, and what we see is that the Chinese companies are also heavily involved in this IoT and AI world. So that's what we're not aiming for, but the rest of the world is what we are aiming for.
Okay. For both of you, where does it go from here? I mean, what are the things that you feel are right now in this lab experimental phase that have huge potential for the future, and where you feel exciting new things will happen? Paul?
Well, I think that it's all about, and that's why also we work together with SNSD, it's all about scalability and lower the barriers of entry. And one of the things what we think is key to be successful is that you make use of existing hardware. So there is a legacy, of course, of all those cameras. You can imagine there are 10,000 cameras. No one wants to replace his cameras for 2,000 or 3,000 cameras in one time or actually.
It's very expensive.
Very expensive. The other thing is that the S&T platforms, such platforms, really make it easy to scale in terms of the application on the edge. So you have a lot of possibilities also with the new infrastructure like 5G. A lot of data and compression is possible, but also on the edge, scalability is one thing, and we make it, I think, possible together in this new environment to be really disruptive in terms of the old-fashioned, more or less traditional security and measurements of very heavy server-based solutions, where it's very proprietary, etc. Still, it is
and very expensive.
Very close, very expensive, and not scalable. And this, in this way, I think, also developing international now, some of the leads I think we get out of this proof concept together is that the cooperation that you need actually to have in this area, also with the other two parties who were sitting on this table before us.
Yeah, it's building
key.
An ecosystem.
I think the winning of and what will happen more and more is that the focus on your core technology is really key. That you are the best, and this way we think we are the best on this AI computer vision technology, together with platforms like SNSD also, but building apps.
And if you look at the AI part of it, the thing where you specialize, what kind of intelligence that we haven't thought of yet will be applied to video streams if you look a little bit into the future, not 100 years, but like 3-5 years?
well, the main question is how do you get the model right, the AI model right, without having all those detection necessary from all those hundreds of behavior specific. So the real challenge is that we're aiming for, that is basically the strategy, the outlier strategy, is that we're not detecting specific measurements of behavior, like you saw in the in the presentation of SNSD, but measuring what is deviant. So you need a lot of data, and then the AI
different
what is different, and of course what is different will not saying that is real dangerous at the same time. But when you learn what is different, then you get more and more specific information about this dangerous situation. But it really helps already the surveillance assistant of the surveillance as an assistant, as a software tool. So the AI will more and more develop in time with the right modeling, with a lot of hard work to get things much more automated and efficient instead of detecting something, because someone is saying then when you have 100 detections and there comes someone with 101 detection, and you didn't train that and learn that, so it's very hard. That's why a lot of companies are difficult.
This was mentioned before as well, that if you train it enough, then the predictive quality of the analysis becomes much bigger as well, right?
Exactly, and then you can copy it to different areas with the same situations, and that's also with Edge and also with the new networks. It's really possible to transform the real specific situation, where it's deviant in a certain location or a certain market, and then really roll it out very fast in terms of the AI and the scalability of platforms such as.
And I guess if people in different industries understand the principle of it, they will come up with all kinds of things that we're now not thinking about. You mentioned one with the garage, right? Where you
Yeah. What we not only scalability but also innovation is what we want to develop, and the platform is going to support that heavily. One of the questions we got out of the market is, for example, scratch and dent detection of cars. When you bring your car to a garage and do your maintenance, directly when you drive up to the
just a second
area,
to drive in, it says, oh, van Düsseldorf, you scratched it again.
Yeah, combined with the license plate, you can say, okay, welcome, but on the other hand, you can also detect how many scratches and dents there are, and you can have another, can say, okay, we can repair it for such an amount, and there's a business case behind it.
Yeah, and that intelligence is on a really minute level. It's not like, okay, let's analyze 10,000 people in a stadium. No, it's let's do one scratch on one car. I mean,
exactly.
And it also works. So anything in between will be analyzed by video.
Yeah.
There's a world of cameras coming at us, that's for sure.
That's what we believe, at least, besides the safety and security part.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else that you would want to try out in this lab of the arena in the next few years?
Yeah, there are a lot of possibilities which will come up, of course, out of this area itself. When people say, okay, can you also have visual analytics to do this and this kind of solutions? We cannot predict even now what will be the future, but let's say on parking, on all kinds of stuff, to have this customer experience, the best customer experience, and have visual analytics helping with that, we can solve that with our platform, for sure.
It applies everywhere. And I'm sure with your AI, you can, add to the
exactly.
experience.
And what we see is it's fully agree about the customer experience, and it's actually what we are also doing is of what's happening on the pitch, make it more easy to see and really focus on the action, as well for people at home, but also inside the stadium. A lot of things are possible with
That's
AI.
more the media side of things, where you can really.
Yeah, so that's also what we developed in this ecosystem with other partners, is really automating different cameras from multiple positions.
So we'll not have just one VAR. We'll have like 60,000 VARs in the stadium.
Well, actually, you say it's a little bit secret. Actually, we are developing a kind of VAR for people at home. Actually, that when you have a panoramic view and image and you see everything, then you have the console and you can watch and train your own algorithm and watch the game like you are the director. And that's really something of the future. The technology is there. It's now or less finding the right partners to scale. Actually,
exciting times.
Very exciting.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was Powering the Future, about innovation in and around the Johan Cruyff Arena. We hope you enjoyed this hour and maybe see you soon. Thank you very much.